Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Wave the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka Mini Wargamer Kris, aka Where the Heck is the Show, aka The Name Butcher. Holy man. Little late start today, because technical issues and trying to get things to happen, and, but it's alright for the moment here. Trying out different stuff. Of course, as you'll notice, I'm not in the office. I'm at home, which is, hopefully a beginning of sorts. And so, hopefully we'll be able to do this more often because it is a little bit more liberating at home. But you're tuning in for Wave the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. We usually delve into a lot of painting talk, as well as a lot of what's under the sun kind of talk, which usually means basically, anything goes, of course. We usually go way off topic on life in general, but usually we do a whole lot of talking on painting talk and things like that. And of course, if you're a first-time viewer, you feel free to ask your questions here. I'm a firm believer in there are no dumb questions, of course. So feel free to ask your questions here. I'm just trying to get myself organized here. I'm a little discombobulated because basically what it was is on XSplit, it's a little bit easier to set up these streams and stuff like that. And so I'm using a different program today because I'm on my Mac, but it's very manual and, it's not that it's better, it's just, or worse, it's just, it's a lot more manual things you got to take care of, and it gets a little bit funny at times because if you input the wrong value, the stream doesn't go anywhere. It was going somewhere. I had it set for, obviously the Wave the Brush episode 166. Everybody was tuned into that, but for some strange reason, it didn't want to go there, and I don't know why. It's just kind of weird. But anyway, everything is running fine right now. I'm seeing myself and everything is transmitting. I hope everything is hunky-dory. Let me know if my voice is out of sync, because I think I had an issue with that when I was testing this before. So feel free to let me know if my voice is not in sync with my mouth, because then I can quickly adjust that. And yeah, so I'm just quickly, again, like I said, I'm getting myself orientated here. And yeah, of course, this one's called a test from home, but actually, I guess it is more apt that this is called a test from home because, reasons. Oh, I just got to make sure all the plates are spinning here. And of course, it looks like everything is running good. I don't know why my window doesn't want to go all the way over there. There we go. It's just so I can pop the chat out. Here we go. And of course, as I mentioned before, there are no dumb questions here. This is a show for you, for newbies, for everybody. And of course, so it looks like everybody's joining in now. Again, like I said, episode 166. This is the episode. This is the show. I'm at home, so I'm sitting here drinking coffee. But, I could be sitting here in my underwear, for all you know. You don't know. For some of you guys, it might help if you guys are picturing me in underwear. I have no idea. Or girls. Or the one girl that's tuned in. All right, where the heck are we here in these comments here? Speaking of the monkeys, we've got Eric, Mars tech support. Have you tried burning incense and make the starting prayer? Yeah, I kind of need the Adeptus Mechanicus at times to kind of get things going here. G squared, I see a web page and I want to paint it black. Ooh. Yeah, because the page was black for a bit here. Damien Hibbert, LOL. Episode 166, 2 streams, 1 Kris. Auric 13, it's alive, praise the machine god. Yeah, so, oh man. Chaotic colors. Whee! And then this little smiley face thing. Laying the sandwich destroyer. I have the strangest urge for having a large portion of hamburger helper. Interesting. Johnny's Chop Shop, what's up? Twitchy Kranos, hey, it's up. was getting worried for my first live show in a month. Yeah, you know, like the show is wrought with bugs and, you know, all sorts of technical difficulties. But I mean, we're on today. And of course, like I said, I'm trying out something different here. I haven't, you know, I thought what had worked out all the bugs. I've been at this all morning trying to get this all set up and primed. Of course, I forgot my intro, so that's why there was like it was an older intro, but I had an intro nonetheless. But anyway, yeah, you know, I mean, it's, hey, come on now, this is not a professional thing here. This is, you know, this is me, for God's sakes. Laying the Sandwich Destroyer at Kris. No picture, good sir, only sound. What? Only sound? That's got to be before. That's got to be from before. Because, I mean, I'm seeing myself now. Oh, of course, my freaking screensaver kicked in. Because I was goofing around so much. Ah, screw it. I had that as the backdrop thing going on, but oh well. I can see myself on my live thing here. Yeah, so again, let me know if I am out of sync or anything like that. So far, I am showing everything progressing as normally. Where is my chat? There's my chat. Chaotic Colors, at home, I say. Yes, I'm at home. You can see I'm in my little lair. I'm in the process of actually getting my lair in order so that I can start doing some more work from home, because initially, you know, I mean, like I work for Mini Wargaming and I create all the painting tutorials, and so I'm painting most of the day or editing, and you know, it's a bit of, you know, turning your hobby into your job kind of thing. And so what does your hobby become, right? And so I'm actually kind of getting back into miniature painting for myself, and that's usually a lot of like the Star Wars models. Like I've got like a whole bunch of Star Wars kits, and you know, actually I don't even know if you guys can see that in the shot here. Hold on. They're over here somewhere, so yeah, but don't worry. And of course, you know, I'm at home, so I'm not standing up. I'm not, you know, projecting a whole lot of vocality at you guys. I'm sitting in my chair, so you might hear it creak every once in a while. It's not my back. Where else are we in these comments here? Arturo Patet. So here you were hiding. Yes, I was hiding. For whatever reason, I was putting in it's called a stream key. And I was putting that in, and it takes me to this side of YouTube for live streaming, because there's two ways you can do this. You can do it kind of like on the fly, or you can set it up and schedule. And normally for Wave the Brush, I schedule it. And for whatever reason, I could not find the stream key for that particular thing. I inputted one value. It said everything was going fine, but the page was not coming up. And I don't know why that is. Whereas I could put the regular old stream key for this, and it worked just fine. And the streaming works just fine. And I'm showing everything is greens and everything's good. Why that is, I have no idea. But yeah, so... anywho, where are we? Matthew Perez, why hello there. Edward Horseman. Yay, I actually get to attend live show rather than view it later. First time in almost 2 years. Well, welcome. Lightning Kilt, Kris, I love you. Well, Lightning, I'm you know, touched, and I appreciate you as well for tuning in. Mad Cow Crazy, wow, your room looks like mine. Boxes of stuff everywhere. Yeah, you know what? Like, you know, okay, here we'll have a quick little breakdown here. Now these boxes here, everybody knows the Gim, right? The regular intro. My buddy Gim, who sits up, he's got like no shirt on in the intro. He's crazy. He's a great fella, but he's crazy. And you see these two things of Tupperware right here, right below my airbrush, which is right there ish. Anyway, those two things of Tupperware, those are full of models. That top one is full of assembled Imperial Guard. There's tanks, Baneblades, Forge World tanks, all sorts of stuff, Land Raiders and stuff like that. Almost said stuff. Anyway, whereas the bottom one, that's all sprues, and that's packed to the gills with sprues. And then I have all these boxes all over the place, and they're all full of loose bits and metal and all sorts of stuff. And it goes up there too. There's boxes all up here, and there's like 2 shelves of stuff here. It was a bit of reorganizing, and you know, and of course there I got my, oops, no, that way, right? excuse me, right there. There's all my little books. Of course, I got my Iron Maiden. You can barely see that. I got other crap around here. Anyway, I'm in the process of, gearing up to redo my office as my hobby room. Of course, I have my library of art books over here and stuff. Actually, here, let's see if we can show that over there. Yeah, so you can see all I got art, history, and language, and Ojibwe culture, and all sorts of fun stuff. And yeah, you can see more stuff over there. Just to give you guys a bit of an idea of the chaos of my office. It's not a huge room, but it's big enough for me. What I basically would like to do is like have my computers and stuff like that all, for doing this show and maybe doing other live shows from home, because I don't want to spend all my time at the office. I mean, I get a lot of stuff done at the office, but I don't want to spend all my time at the office. I'd rather spend it with my kids and my wife and, and friends and, and it just, I think it would be better if I can, spend an hour here, an hour there. And I think all around everybody would be happy. It's kind of, I want to, basically have my cake and eat it too kind of thing, right? Whereas, if I'm always at the office, then, the family's like, well, where's dad? Where's dad? You know what I mean? And so I want to be home, but I still want to be able to do what I want when I want. And of course, I've also been playing a little bit more video games. And so I was thinking, it'd be kind of fun to live stream those. And even my son, he plays a lot of video games, and he's been playing on this computer that I'm doing my live stream from, and it runs Insurgency really well. And I was thinking maybe today, maybe I'll do a little bit of Insurgency after this. I don't know. We'll see. But like right now for like, doing like painting stuff, like I have like all my paints and all my brushes, all that is all at the office. And I think I'd like to begin transferring some stuff so that I can do hobby stuff at home. And then, do it from the office as well. Again, like I said, I'm just kind of like getting back into the hobby, as it were, and the painting, and I'm loving painting again, kind of thing, if that's possible. So where are we in the comments? Moosehead painting. Hey, Kris and all the monkeys. Arturo Patet. Dumb question. You weren't supposed to be in the bathroom taking a bath with bubbles. This is the sort of thing we agreed upon from the live from home. I feel cheated. You know what? I was thinking of doing the practical joke of like having my hair in curlers, sitting here like in a bathrobe and maybe like a mud mask on. You know what I mean? It's just kind of casual. Or I'd be sitting here in my underwear, drinking a beer while we're doing the show. And actually, you know what? I might disappear for a second just so I can grab a beer. And, I don't encourage the consumption of alcohol for any of the younger viewers. And of course, it's a bad habit, just like a lot of other adult type habits. Don't do it. Save yourself. Save your health. But on that note, I'm going to go kill my liver. No. No. Don't listen to me. Daniel L. Good afternoon. Another live stream. I love it. Damien Hebert. It's good. Yeah, so, okay. Let me see here. I want to see if anybody responded to my comment about my voice being out of sync. Somebody says, who is it? Oh, Tolo, your monitor in the background's tripping me out. Man, I missed a lot of comments here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything saying Damien, circus act, plate spinning. Yeah, that's all. You're gonna do it in your underwear. Yeah, that's an expression I've used many times because oftentimes I do this show on a Windows computer, and for whatever reason, my Windows computer, as soon as you get everything set up, you can't change any of the variables. Otherwise, something crashes and then the whole thing goes down. And I don't know why that is, but yeah. So, Matthew Perez at Kris, you're a pro. Well, at least in my eyes. Well, thank you. The Mobius at Kris, dude, how's it going to? I have that Talisman game. Is it worth playing? Talisman? Talisman's a fantastic game, and I'm really disappointed that GW pulled their license from Fantasy Flight Games for Talisman, because Fantasy Flight Games, they made a really great version of Talisman. It's the latest version you can get of Talisman, and of course there's a computer version as well for mobile and other stuff like that, and it's a lot of fun. But like that version of the game, that was produced by Games Workshop, and so it was using Games Workshop plastic models and stuff like that, and it was really good. You know, it had like the player cards were really large, and you know everything was really graphically friendly, and it had that. I'm pretty sure the board. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the board is in the same style as Wayne England's artwork. You know, rest in peace that fella, because I mean that artist was great. You know, he really embodied Games Workshop's art style for such a long time. I mean, it's Blanche, you know, it's Wayne England, and for me, Mark Gibbons. I mean, Mark Gibbons, he's my favorite artist that was producing artwork for Games Workshop. I just loved his style, and Wayne England is like a very close second. You know, unfortunately, we're not going to get any more artwork out of Wayne England because he passed away some time ago, and you know, it's really unfortunate because I mean, like his style was just awesome. You know, the iconic skull design that Games Workshop has, you know what I mean, like where it's kind of a pointy and sharp teeth kind of thing. That was Wayne England's art style, and his style goes like you see his artwork all over the place in older Games Workshop pieces. Anyway, and that talisman there was a lot of fun. The one from Fantasy Flight is our Fantasy Flight. Is that what the hell they're called? Fantasy Flight? I think it's Fantasy Flight. Anyway, I have that version of Talisman as well, along with a few of the supplements, and I don't have them all, and I'd love to have them all. And we still play it. We played last weekend with our neighbors. They love playing it, and we have the one where death, and basically if you go to the center, it's you flip the card over, everybody votes, and then you roll the die, and if the character who got there first, if they roll like a 3 or 4, basically they're killed because they're deemed unworthy. And so it happened to Buddy, and he jumped in, he's like, "Yay, I win!" And everybody votes, and it's like, "Oh, frig, I'm dead," you know? He worked so hard to get his character built up, and then just at the end, you get killed, you know, because of a friggin' vote. But anyway, it's a great fun game. I love it. Talisman's tons and tons of fun. You have to set aside quite a few hours sometimes, especially if you have a lot of people. It's good for, I think, like 6 players, but definitely play it. It's a fun game. It's an adventure game, and it's so easy to play. You roll a dice, you move that many squares, you draw a card, you do what the card says, you know. And it's easy peasy, and it's hours and hours of fun. It's a game I've played since I was a wee lad. I used to play with my friends back in the Sault Ste. Marie. We used to play the I think it was like 2nd edition, I think, or 1st edition. But anyway, and tons and tons of fun. It's a fantastic game. I can't recommend it enough. Anthony B, that Iron Man poster in the back makes this stream so much better. It's actually not a poster. It's a 3D relief art. Eddie is coming forward out of the piece. He's like a sculpture, and so like the rest of the background is like the original poster, but he's like, you know, coming out of the piece. And so yeah, that's a fun little piece. That's one of my favorites. There was another one. Oh, I have another big poster from Iron Maiden, and it's another big one. It's the one where they're all sitting on the tanks and stuff. But anyway, where are we in the comments? Cocking 555. Mike booms and pops. Don't raise your voice. Oh. Okay, well, maybe I'll move it back a bit. Maybe I'm... oops. Knocked the mic against my monitor. Again, like I said, this is, you know, on the fly. Once I kind of perfect how to do this, you know, maybe I should just put the pop filter on. No, it's not going to fit on here. Never mind. Not going to do it. Aquamaster, Minecraft and more. Sorry, I'm late. Yes. You should be sorry, Lego. You should be sorry. Again, like I said, is my voice in sync with myself? Because I can adjust that. I have the capacity to do that. You know, I'm just quickly scrolling through the comments here. Oops, no, not that. There we go. Ghost to Starman Deluxe. About 20 years before I was born, my uncle bought my dad the original talisman, so that's hanging around somewhere. Cool. That's cool. That's very cool. Dr. Zanto, send pics, but still do it. Sure, still do it. You can still do pics. Everything is pretty much the same as just, you know, I'm at home today. Where are we? Kevin Ledbeater, voice seems good to me. Okay, well, if my voice seems in sync, then excellent. Again, like I said, I can adjust it if it seems fine. Video and sound are fine. Tech support lesson 101. If people aren't complaining, then it's working. Or you're lonely. Lord of Midgets, yeah. So, yeah, I guess so, right? And, yeah. So I think I've got pretty much everything going here. Lightning Kilt. Is it Kilt? Yeah, I think it's Kilt. Your voice is definitely in sync, but poppin' and fluttering and still there from time to time. Let's maybe turn down the volume a couple hairs. Let's turn down just a couple decibels there. You know what? Let's go a couple more. Let's go there. Bup, 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 bup. Yeah, I turned it. I went down a couple dBs there for you guys. Hopefully that's okay. Well, guys, definitely, if you guys are having headphones on when I do the email jingle, definitely watch out because I haven't adjusted those yet. She's gonna blow your headphones right off your skull. Doesn't seem to be railing to loudness. It might be something with the actual mic. Crackling sound like a bad cable. Interesting. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's go. No, I need to go here. Can I adjust this while I'm broadcasting? No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. I want... Is it this? Mic audio? No. Down mix to mono? No. Monitoring? I don't need monitoring on. Don't need no stinking monitoring. No, that's not what I want. I want this. Properties. Device. Schnobo. Okay. How do I sound now? Do I sound a little better? Worse? Let's go back up to normal dBs just in case. Because I actually think that we're on a different mic now. I think maybe I had the wrong mic. Maybe I was on the wrong mic. I don't know. Again, like I said, all the plates spinning and stuff like that. And, you know, so anyway. Where am I in the comments? Two guns painting, crackling sound like a bad cable. Oh, I already read that one. Grim, Danke. Lightning Killed, LOL. Matthew Perez, I thought it was my speakers, but I did have... We'll keep an ear out for you. Yeah, always have my volume on my headset on low. I like hearing. Two guns painting. Prax, haha, peaks. Prax. No, you still hear it. Okay. I don't know. Bring it down. I can hear fuzz. The crackle is so minor I wouldn't fret. You sound awful. Mic's working perfectly. Da-dum-dum. Da-dum-dum? Da-dum-dum. Lightning Kill. Kris, if you're willing to invest in a new mic, assuming that it doesn't out blue mics are best bang for your buck and it's cheap too. Blue mics? You mean like that mic? Is this the mic we're talking about? Yeah, I'm not sure why it'd be crackling. I'm gonna bring the volume back down just a couple hairs. I'll bring it down about here because maybe on this system, maybe the way the sound card processes the information, I don't know. Like I said, this is a whole new system I'm working on. I'm on my Mac Pro at home, so yeah. It's not fuzz, it's static. Yeah, I'm not sure what that would be. I mean, I could probably put a filter on, or maybe it's, you know, me just where I'm sitting, because I mean, normally, like, I don't have that mic that close, but anyway. Yeah, it gets worse when I up the dB. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I could put a filter on, but then I'd be monkeying with it, and you know, I don't feel like doing that. I think we'll be fine. Is it plugged into a Mac? Yes, it's plugged into a Mac. It doesn't seem to be volume related. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe it's just the way the cord is in the thingies. I have no idea. Again, like I said, this is from home, man. I mean, like, it's not being affected by volume at all. Okay, so then it's got to be a filter I can throw on. Of course, that doesn't want to come up. And of course, too, plus I'm using a different program than I normally do. Mainly because they don't make XSplit for Mac. They talk about making it for Mac, but yeah. It'd be kind of nice if they did, because I mean, then that way I could just continue paying them my money. But I mean, like a show like today, I mean, I'm paying for a service that I'm not even using. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Yeah, if I wanted to turn that on, no, nah. Anyway, Grim, did you talk to Steve about Insurgency for 27 minutes, or was he merely trying to be funny about it? Random, I know, but I would have wondering about it. You know what? I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember the conversation, to be honest. Because we were just talking. We were just, it was just on the fly. He was really kind of bummed out that he was recorded like all the morning with Mitch for his battle report, and the entire thing got messed up. Why, I have no idea, but something happened with his card, and basically because we did a quick look to see if his files were still on the card, and they were. But he'd have to pay for a service. He'd have to go through the whole thing of reacquiring the files, and he didn't feel like doing it and didn't want to go through the hassle. And so he just kind of scrapped it, and then he just, and I said, well, why don't you just film like a vlog kind of thing and just, do that? And of course, everybody loves it because, everybody likes the kind of behind the scenes kind of stuff, right? And I thought it was a good idea, and he liked it, and it seems like the video has gotten a huge amount of views because it's just us, sitting around, talking and stuff. And we're being fairly natural in we're trying to watch our language a little bit, but we're fairly natural in that video. Lightning Kilt, F not volume. I guess it's too annoying for us to tell you. The way the stream doesn't become tech talk the whole time. Yeah. Lord of Midgets, OBS is better than XSplit for basic use. Unless you're going fancy, OBS is just so much nicer to use. Yeah, see, that's what I'm using right now is OBS, and it runs natively on Mac and Linux, because it's an open source program, right? So a lot of the open source is often Linux and Mac. Well, it's Unix, right? And excuse me, which is obviously the better, more secure operating system. Windows is just Swiss cheese in comparison. And XSplit, for its flaws, but I've had pretty good use out of it. I just don't like when they do updates, and then it changes a variable, and then that's when things get messed up on the shows. Like they change variables, and Windows will update, and I tell it not to, and it still wants to do it, and it's all very annoying. Versus on here, what's annoying is that I got to input all the variables, but once all the variables are in, it works, right? And so, once the variables are in, it works, and I can just click it and it'll work, and no problem. I don't have to worry, and if anything changes, it's because I made the change, right? Computers should always do what you tell it to do. It should never do things on its own. Anyway, Arturo Protect, okay, Lord of Midgets, you made me feel like my mother with the TikTok. Stop that. Call King 555. YouTube hates people turning of auto speed on it. I'm not sure. Tolo, turn up your mic. Can't hear you now. Well, too bad. Turn up your speakers. The Mobius. Do you think I have problems airbrushing urethane airbrush paint over an acrylic or vice versa? I'm doing some color flip harlequins due to your experience with the nail polish. Is the stuff they spray like motorbike tanks with? Oh, it's the stuff. Yeah. So spraying the urethane lacquer, essentially. Excuse me. Lacquer paint through the airbrush. As long as you're using a lacquer thinner, or if you're using nail polish, you're using a nail polish thinner, as I've shown in the videos and my experimentation there. Now, there are other videos on the internet on that subject. What I produced was nothing new, other than I don't think anybody sprayed the iridescent nail polish through the brush. Everybody was using solid colors, and I don't think anybody used that color shifting paint. Because that's what that paint was, right? It was color shifting, right? It showed up red, but it was yellow on the edges, and that's when you turn it, and it still looks that way, and because it's dichromatic paint. Anyway, is that the proper term? Dichromatic? I think that's what it's called. Anyway, and the spraying it through the airbrush is not a problem, right? Because you just use a little bit of lacquer thinner, or nail polish thinner, or even lacquer thinner. Like a proper if you're going through, say, Humbrol or Tamiya or even Testors enamels, I'm just trying to think of all the like the lacquer enamel based paints, and that's often what they'll use on like motorcycles and cars and things like that. It's often a lacquer based paint because it's just solid. It's just a solid paint once it's applied to a surface. And using it on our models, it does seem like it might be a little excessive, but I mean, as long as you thin it out, it sprays onto the models just fine. You know, it's not like it's really, really thick. You know, I mean, it tends to look really thick when you pull it out of the bottle, but that's why you add the thinner, because it thins it out and it covers nice and even on a model surface. And I will show using that paint on a model surface. I will show a video on that. I haven't filmed it yet, but it is on my to-do list of videos that I want to show. I wasn't sure if I was going to show it for the Patreons first, because like I said, like I've been trying to schedule videos for my patrons, give them basically early access to videos. Like there's already a video for the patrons out there where I do a little test with a particular product. It's kind of like a product review, but eventually that'll get posted on the regular channel, but my patrons will get extra access to that for, you know, a duration. Basically give them a leg up on everybody else on what I'm doing. But anyway, yeah, as far as using the lacquer on top of acrylic, you should be okay. Now, it is kind of tough. Like, okay, if you're using a primer, I definitely would recommend using more like a regular auto body type primer, because that's more akin to urethane type paints. Now, primer typically is primer, but when we're using, say, airbrush primer, and as you may have noticed from the tests that I had done, you've seen how the lacquer, the nail polish, sat on top of a acrylic primer, right? And you saw how it sat on top of a spray. And that was a spray can. That was a gloss black out of a spray can I used on the other spoon. That was the second video I had done. And you've seen how well the paint had sat on top of that. So if you're going to use any of these colors, especially with the metallics, put it on a gloss black. And you're best using a lacquered gloss black to apply the colors. That's really the key element there, is to use a gloss. If you're going to use metallics, use a gloss. Because then that way it is really, really smooth, and it's going to sit on top of that surface really, really well, and you know, you'll be good to go. Now, spraying acrylic on top of lacquer, it works just fine as well. I would seal the model first, spray your acrylic down, and then seal it again. Now, it seems like a lot of layers, but if you're doing it by airbrush, you should be fine. If you're doing it by regular brush, yeah, you still might want to thin it out, and you know, you practice, you know, applying smooth layers and, you know, all that good stuff. But otherwise, yeah, you kind of have to be really careful about that one. But as far as laying the lacquer on top of acrylic, it should work as well. If it doesn't work, let me know. But it should work. Especially if you're working in thin layers and then you seal the entire thing. Especially if you seal it in a clear lacquer, like use a gloss, clear, or a matte varnish from a lacquer line. Really, it depends on what kind of urethane type or lacquer paint you're using. Hopefully Mobius, that helps. Again, if you do run into problems, let me know. But I have not tried it myself, but from my initial tests, the lacquer sat on top of the acrylic primer just fine. But I did not try laying an acrylic base coat down and then laying the lacquer on top. I did not try that. So it's when you're using mixed mediums, you know, you're often experimenting when you mix mediums like that. So if you're going to go with lacquers, you're best using primer all the way up and sticking with lacquers. Now, it's kind of like oil painting, where the thicker the paint, the thin paint will sit on top of it, but thin paint won't sit on top of thick paint. Or, sorry, vice versa. Thin paint will sit on top of thick, but thick won't sit on top of thin. And that's just one of the properties of oil painting. And so sometimes you can run into that similar kind of situation when you're mixing media, as far as, what particular paints are. But I mean, through the airbrush, if you're using it through the airbrush and it's coming out really thin, it should be okay. But maybe it makes it more susceptible to chipping. I'm not 100% sure. Again, it's kind of uncharted territory. You may want to check out other sites and videos and might want to research it up a little bit more if you're really, really concerned about it. Again, I don't think too many people in the wargaming hobby are into that. You're most likely going to find an example of that from the railroad guys or the scale model guys. They're most likely going to be the best source of information on that kind of thing, but even then, some of them might not, because a lot of them, they find a particular thing they like and they just stick with it. And, yeah. So hopefully that helps, Mobius. Ulrich 13, I know if I ask a guy about, I would like to have Master Monkey input on the idea. I'm thinking about making an Adeptus Arbite. I was thinking using a Space Marine Scout Biker, Land Speeder as the normal guys. SWAT would be Scions and a bunch of penal conscript. Penal? Anyway. Okay, yeah, I think that would be a cool idea, yeah. For Adeptus Arbites. You gotta find some helmets. Because, I mean, the Adeptus Arbites, yeah, they all have, like, helmets and stuff like that. And, yeah. But I mean, it sounds like a great idea. I mean, because the Scout Bikers, right? They got the armor, but they got cloth and stuff. The Scout Bikers are a good one too, as well as the Land Speeder guys, and the Scions being the whatchamacallits, the SWAT team. Yeah, I think it's an excellent idea. If you do it and you do some conversions and stuff, send them my way, please. Kris at miniwargaming.com. It's in the description. Well, it's not in the description right now because I have to do this everything. But anyway, it's in the description below. Lord of Midgets, I feel I need to bully Kris into answering my strange question about buffing water. Buffing water? Or water buffing? Like buffing with water? Interesting. Those paints work fine. The model car people do it all the time. Yeah. Okay, so hopefully Mobius, gives you the confidence and, give it a shot. Definitely, though, thin your paints out and, you should be good. Cocking 555 with the brush from home, episode 2. Today is Campfire Kris. Campfire Kris. Tolo. Wow, I have insurgency. Time to install it. 9 gigs starts now. Yeah, give it a shot, Tolo. Because I play all the time. I mean, like anybody who has me on Steam, they'll see like whenever I'm playing Insurgency, shoot me a message and maybe we'll play together. Oftentimes it's often my son, but feel free to just message and say, hey, what's up, happening? What's happening? And because I like Insurgency, it's a lot of fun. It's a bit like Counter-Strike, but it's a lot of fun. Matthew Perez question: is using plastic primer from Krylon okay for metal minis? Yeah, it should be fine. Don't have a huge amount of them, but I did just prime maybe a dozen or so, and it seems to be holding on. Yeah, most primers are they're varying degrees of of use. Some primers, it seems like they go on pretty thick. Some primers seem to go on really thin. But I mean, like using, like, say, Krylon spray to like prime, like using their primer, it should work just fine. It should be fine for plastics, metals, resins, what have you. I'm a big fan of using Citadel spray primer, mainly because, like, really the danger oftentimes, and I've mentioned this many times before, often the danger with priming is over priming. And when you're using a colored primer, the danger is to over prime, because you see like maybe a little bit in the recesses, like the armpit or something like that, and you'll see that there's no color there, and so you spray some more. You tend to over prime the model that way because you end up putting this really chalky kind of rough surface on the model, and that's no fun, because you might as well strip the model and go down. It's better to just slightly under prime than over prime. Over priming the model makes the paint job look really, really chalky and dusty. If you dry brush the model, you'll pick that right up, and yeah, you're better off under priming a model slightly than overpriming, because overpriming is a pain in the ass. Gaming with the cooler. There's Owen. There are some Judge Dredd models floating around for Arby's. Oh, okay, yeah, Judge Dredd model, perfect. That's a very good fit. Actually, that's a good idea. Thanks, Owen. The Mobius. Thanks, Chris. Thank man. I have done it this week, so I'll let you know by next show. Thanks all. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Seriously, like you are, Chris. Thoughts on Dread Knight Grandmaster? Suggestions on how to convert said model. The Dread Knight, like throwing the Grandmaster inside the Dread Knight. I think it should be as simple as like a head swap. No. I mean, what's the real difference between like the grand? I mean, other than maybe a cloak and the head. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know Grey Knights well enough. Quirk was talking with me the other day about his Grey Knights and his ideas there for them and stuff, and I really don't know Grey Knights. I mean, they're just kind of glorified Space Marines. The faction really doesn't interest me. Because I don't like, as far as the background is concerned, there shouldn't be a whole army of Grey Knights. Grey Knights are always described in the background as, a single or a squad of them come in, deal with the demon incursion, and then they leave. You know what I mean? They're kind of like the Men in Black kind of thing. They appear out of nowhere, deal with the demons, and then they bug out. And, it's usually the Inquisitor who, is calling them in and summoning them, and so having a whole army of Grey Knights, like you're talking about, as far as the background's concerned, you're talking about an entire planet would have to be, or they're invading a demon world to liberate it or something like that. Like, that was the only reason why you'd want to have a whole Grey Knight army present, right? Because dealing with Space Marines, there's only 1,000 chapters, and there's only 1,000 Marines per chapter. So seeing a Space Marine should be pretty rare in 40k universe. And even Space Marines talk about Grey Knights, or they're not even supposed to talk about Grey Knights, because Grey Knights are like Men in Black. They're, you know what I mean? Like, they're just a whisper, right? And Grey Knights should be that, that exclusive. Like, you never see these guys, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just seems kind of dumb that there's a whole bunch of them, and there's this army of them. They should be very, very rare occurrence of Grey Knights, because they're scattered all over the universe. They're dealing with demon incursions, and mustering an entire force of them should be a rare occurrence, right? Super rare. So I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I'd rather, like, realistically, you would see more Ordos Xenos and more Ordos Heretic than you would see Ordo Malus. You know what I mean? If you're going by the old ways of the Inquisitors, and the three main factions of Inquisitors, right? Even Ordos Xenos, they're very specific. It really, Ordos Heretics should be all over the place. That should be the most dominant Inquisitor force, because they're in control of the Sisters of Battle, you know what I mean? And they're constantly looking for heretics, which is on every human world. And so every human world should have some faction of Ordos Heretic on that planet watching out for, demons and heretics and, all sorts of crazy crap, right? And, Ordos Xenos, it's very specific. You would see them near, like, the Tau border and near craft worlds and, where Tyranid incursions are happening and things like that nature, right? So, I don't know. I mean, if you're gonna go by fluff, I mean, there really shouldn't be a Grey Knight army. It's just kind of dumb. But anyway, enough ranting. Moose head painting. I use Skitarii Vanguard heads for my Adeptus Arba. Oh yeah, because they got like the perfect little heads, and they got the little gas masks and stuff. That's a good one. I like that idea too for the Arbites. Yeah. Lord of Midgets. Question for the Lube Master. The Lube Master. I was thinking of doing an atmospheric 90s sci-fi Tokyo style diorama. Wow, that's a mouthful. I want LEDs to reflect on my water effects. Could I use car wax to buff the water effect? Water effects are going to be pretty glossy to begin with. And I mean, if the water effect is too still, then it just looks like glass or something, right? Whereas you want the water effect to have a slight ripple. Unless, of course, it's a puddle or something. I don't know. But it really, you shouldn't need to buff the water effect. I'm not sure if car wax would buff the water effect. That's a good question. In theory, sure. In practice, it doesn't seem like it would be necessary. In fact, to get really glossy water effects, it's applying many thin layers and just build it up. And you know what I mean? But I mean, you know, it depends, I guess, really how you're creating your water effect, I guess, really is the question. I know model car builders use car wax to get their super glossy paint effects, and they become a reflective and mirror-like. Now, that's because they're using, like I said earlier, they're using lacquer-based paints. Enamel is very durable. It's like auto body paint. And you can use car wax, right, to buff that paint job on your little model car. That's fine. But as wargaming miniatures type painters, we don't do a lot of these things because we're working in acrylics most of the time. Most of us. Some of us are painting in oils, some of us are painting in lacquers, but the majority, I would say like good 80 to 90% of wargamers are painting with acrylic paints. Dabbling here and there in other things, but of course, you know, but a lot of the scale modelers and railroad guys, yeah, they're using lacquer-based paints all the time because they want a strong, durable paint job because they're not handling their models. We handle our models all the time. And really, realistically, we should be using lacquers, I suppose. But lacquers are really chemical smells. There's a lot of health hazards associated with them. And, you know, it's not very kid-friendly. In fact, you have to have a certain skill base with using lacquers. Getting a kid into the hobby, you know what I mean? And starting them off on lacquers and stuff like that, yeah, that's a whole new bag of worms, man. It's easier to use acrylics. It's just easier. And safer, really, in the long run. Damien Hibbert, since you're going to go back at it with your hobby, and do you plan on doing a Slave 1? Do I have Slave 1? No, I don't have Slave 1, actually. But yeah. Slave 1, that's on my list. You know what though? I'm just not, because I like the Bandai kits, and the Slave 1 from Bandai, it's only a 144. Now it'd be in scale with my Millennium Falcon, but you know, I'd rather they had a 172. But I'm afraid that they'll do a Slave 1 in 172, and it'll be perfect grade, and it's gonna cost me $500. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, time will tell. I bought it just recently as a diversion from GW Pilot, and I still paint. Love to see what you do with it. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I haven't even finished my Millennium Falcon. I mean, I've got all the transfers on my Millennium Falcon, but I haven't weathered yet because I was going to film it and show, you know, how I was going to weather it and everything, you know. Matthew Perez, awesome, thanks Chris, no problem. Chaotic Colors, email, yeah, let's do an email soon. Lord of Midgets, Warlord have Dread license now, new game in the near future, cool. Tolo, Green Knights get chaplains now, eek, yeah, you know what I mean, like, I don't know, they're just Space Marines, they're just glorified Space Marines now, they're just another Space Marine chapter, which, in my opinion, boring. Steam McDemon. I like that name, Steam McDemon. The latest White Dwarf has an article about a converted Grey Knight Grandmaster Dread Knight. Yeah, well, because you can put a Grandmaster in a Dread Knight. You can put a character in that Dread Knight now, which is kind of crazy. Moosehead, 40k Men in Black. Isn't that the Death Watch? No, because the Men in Black deal with, well, I guess technically, yeah, they're dealing with aliens, but their Death Watch doesn't seem as secretive, right? They seem like it's a Marine posting, like all the Marines know about it, but like even Marines are not supposed to know about Grey Knights. Nobody's supposed to know about Grey Knights because nobody is supposed to know about demons. Because if you know about demons, then you can become susceptible to demons coming from the warp and busting through and into reality, and bleh, you know what I mean? So that's why, well, at least in the older lore, that's the way they treated demons, is that the humans aren't supposed to know. Like, humans don't know about chaos. They don't know about the demons and you know, the crazy crap in the warp and stuff. That's the navigators and the Ordo Malus. That's them. Like, even Space Marines are supposed to get mind wiped after dealing with demon incursions, right? Dealing with demons is supposed to be a rare thing somewhat an uncommon occurrence in the 40k universe, right? Where are we? Chaotic Colors at Kris. You talked about ice on Space Marine armor last time, I think, and that you think it wouldn't settle on the armor. Reading Spear McCraig, you were right. Oh, why? When Spear McCraig, do they talk about, like, okay, well, he continues on. On page 90, it's in quotations here, thick clumps of hard-packed snow disintegrated off his body as the heat from his power armor melted it. Interesting. So okay, so it's lore. It's now canon, I suppose, that a Space Marine suit burns warm. Now, it's not saying that frost can't gather there or snow can't gather on the suits, right? Because we see a lot of Space Wolves in this, and the snow is falling. But I mean, maybe it's fresh fallen snow, and then it's just in the process of melting on them. Maybe Fenrisian snow is denser type. You know what I mean? Maybe there's more nitrogen in it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever way you want to imagine how cold it is on Fenris, because maybe Fenris is supposed to be like super duper cold, like it's like Pluto, for God's sakes, right? It's just friggin' freezing, and maybe Space Marine suits would be cold enough that maybe snow could gather on them, maybe, or maybe if a Space Marine was standing on guard and he's just standing there and his suit is not being really active, because I mean most electronics, right, they heat up when they're being used lots, right? Like kind of like a computer, right? I mean, when you're really working your computer, it heats up and heats up as it's processing and doing things and drawing power. Whereas if it's in a sleep mode, it becomes very cool. It's not quite as warm, and you know what I mean. So maybe Space Marine suits are like that, where maybe there's always warm, but maybe there's varying temperatures, right? Maybe when it's at rest, when a Marine's at rest, he's not quite as warm as when he's in the midst of battle and he's running, and you know what I mean, like. So, yeah, but I like that. That's very interesting. I guess so now we can say it's canon that Space Marine suits do are warm. Edward Horseman, currently painting my Forge World Avatar of Kane, but not sure what paint to paint his hair. What do you monkeys and Monkey King suggest? I did my hair on my avatar. I did it old school. I did it like it was white with a green streak in it. And that was because that was the way it was done back in the day, and I always liked that look. I liked the streaks in the Eldar hair. I did the Incarn, and I did the hair whitish. Yeah, whitish. And I did, like, I think a green streak, I think, in it. Yeah, I did a green streak in the hair as well for that one. And so, you could always try that. I like the multicolors in hair. Of course, doing the hair like it's fire could also work. It depends on how you've done your avatar, and it depends on how much color is going on really on the model. I mean, if you went for a really kind of bright, fiery avatar, maybe you want to offset that with some other colors on the hair. Typically, white works well, but you can go with like another color, like blues. You could do the Craft World colors. There's an idea. Either way, let me know what you decide, and send me a pic. Send me a pic of what you do. Kris at miniwargaming.com. It's not in the description right now, but it will be there. The body's painted lava with a black gray crust. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I would go with kind of brighter colors. I like white. And or do it like the Craft World colors. If you're Samhan, do the hair red. If you're Beltan, do it green with a white streak. Sky's the limit, man. But I'm a big fan of like doing it like a solid thing and then doing a streak. My Jane Czar model, her hair is bright red with a white streak in it. I just kind of like the look. It looks kind of Eldar. It's different. It's fun. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There's really no rhyme or reason to whatever I do. I don't really pre-think things out too much. I'm not really one to sit there and hem and haw too much about a paint job. Although I can't say that about the avatar, but that was really about how I wanted to go for the glow effect, how I was going to achieve that. And people ask me how I did it, and it's like, I'm sorry, I went back and forth on it. I mean, like, he actually probably has about 2 or 3 layers of paint to him, like heavy base layers, because I went back and forth on ideas. Yeah. Ed Horseman, I have Kris's avatar was the inspiration for me to paint mine, but I don't really want to do gray-white hair. Yeah, like I said, you can do whatever you want, man. Do the Craft World colors. If you've done it molten, you do yellow hair. You could do black hair. You could do it like fire, like I said. You could do it like a different fire. You can paint it like fire, but like do it greens or do it blues or magentas. Again, like I said, sky's the limit. Really, it's kind of like what fits in with your army kind of thing. Sorry, coffee time, and that last little bit was a little cool. Oh man, it's kind of cool, chaotic colors at Kris. Love it when you get geeky with the lore. Yeah. Tavo, how much of a lore nerd would you consider yourself? Oh man, I don't know. I mean, like I'm behind in my reading, so I can't say I'm super geeky because I am behind. I started reading, but I haven't read all the Horus Heresy books. I know they're fantastic, but you know, I haven't gone through all of them. I don't read quite as much as I used to. Just, you know, just life in general, and just, you know, yeah. I mean, like if I was to sacrifice something, like if I was to cut video games out of my life, and you know, did more reading, that probably what would happen. I'd have to cut video games out and do more reading, or maybe I'll do half the amount of video games and do half the amount of reading. Maybe that's the way I should do it. Again, it's all about finding the balance, right? Edward Horseman, yeah, thanks, Kris. I think I'll do my craft world color scheme for the hair. Yeah, excellent. Do your craft world. Yeah. Because, I mean, like, I think really if you did the hair as the craft world and his tabard that hangs from between his legs, I think if you did those as the craft world so that it links him with his craft world, I think is about the best way to go. And that way he links visually with the Guardians and everything else. Because definitely you're going to be using the avatar a lot with your Guardians, right? Because, again, he makes everybody, you know, fearless, essentially, around him, right? So, yeah. Metalhead Tribe. Great show. Love the paint talk. Good. I'm glad. You know, when people tune in for the first time and, you know, they're like, wow, this is a really informative show. Because that encourages them, the viewer, to go back and listen to other shows. And, I mean, like, sometimes we do go back and talk about subjects, you know, repeatedly. And, of course, I'll repeat myself a lot. But, you know, I mean, for somebody, that might be entirely new. And so when, you know, you go through and... Because, I mean, like, right from episode... Well, I mean, I don't have episode 1 to 10 because those were lost in the warp on Justin TV, which became Twitch TV. Well, one of the episodes was preserved for some strange reason. It made through the transfer, I guess. But anyway, from episode 11 on, you know, I like to think is some pretty good information and some good times. We have some laughs. We get pretty goofy. And, you know, that's the important part is, you know, it's entertaining as well as informative. Lightning Kilt. Kris, what grabbed you about the Eldar? Gosh. You know, like I've played almost all the armies since Rogue Trader. I've played Space Marines, I've played Eldar, I've played Tyranids, I played Orcs a lot, I played Chaos a lot. I had my Eldar army currently is like 10,000 points, maybe more. And my Chaos army was about that as well. But I gifted that away to my brother-in-law because he was an avid Chaos player. And so I just, well then here, take all my Chaos. I'm going to start Eldar again. Or I think at the time I was starting Tau. And I was playing Tau. And that was when they first initially came out. And then I was like, no, whatever. And I got rid of them. And actually, when I sold my Tau, I got enough money from that I could buy, and it was just a deal had just come up. Was for the old armor cast Phantom Titan, and I always wanted one from way back in the day. But you know, back then spending $100 and some on a model seemed kind of crazy, and you know, but now I mean I dropped $300 and some on it, and I was like, well, but it's a collector's piece, right? So I had to. But anyway, I've played all the armies, and Eldar. I just like the way Eldar play. I like Samhan. I like the color scheme of Samhan, and I like the background for Samhan. I like the fact that they're this advanced ancient race who still honor, right, and valor, and you know. They're often referred to as the primitive Eldar, other than Exodites, that they have ties with the Exodites, which is this really interesting faction of Eldar as well. And, you know, I just kind of, you know, identify with them much more, and I like the way Eldar play. I like maneuverability and overwhelming firepower with, you know, these really colorful armies that, you know, that they are, because, you know, like, the Eldar army is just visually very nice looking on a table. It's not like Space Marines where they tend to just all be one color, which is fine, but I kind of like more variation because I can see immediately what I'm looking at. A fire dragon, you know, you typically aren't going to mix up what a fire dragon color scheme is and a Dark Reaper or a Dire Avenger, right? They're often painted in those shrine colors or their craft world colors, but they're typically, you know, they're in different colors, and so you can visually see them much better. Whereas Space Marines, you know, most of the time you can't tell, you know, these tactical squads and, you know, the Devastators from the tacticals and who's in that squad, and you know what I mean. And then before you can have like Assault Marines where they didn't have jetpacks and they were just on foot walking around. I mean, like, you know, just, you know, all these things. I mean, I like each unit to look different and play differently, and, you know, just be all around different. Jabba's left nut. Chris, where do you hide your lube, your home lube? Well, it's at home. I'm at home, and I mean, I'm in my little office studio thing, and of course, I don't keep lube here because, you know, trying to get work done. Two Guns Painting. Anyone ever take a pic of a mini and play around with the colors on the computer, trying to figure out different color schemes? That's a very interesting one. I've seen that before. I see nothing wrong with it. The only problem becomes, is your monitor calibrated properly to show you the proper colors, and then working out the hex values of those colors to what you need on your palette. That can be a bit of a challenge, but it gets you in the right direction of, as far as like what kind of color schemes you want to do, you know. So I like that idea, and it's something, you know, I mean, if somebody wants to go through that process and really kind of, you know, deliberate on what, you know, what kind of color scheme they want to do, I think that for some people that might be really helpful. That's the end of the coffee email time. Yeah, we better do an email soon, right? Because what time are we at? Holy crap, it's already 2:15. But we got started late, so we'll probably run the usual 2 hours. I don't know how long. Does this thing tell me how long? Yeah, I've been running an hour and 3 minutes now. So I got a little timer, tells me. And everything's been running good. My computer handles this really, really well. It's a Mac Pro, so it's got like a nice big fat processor, and it's got it's got tons of RAM on it. So it's good. Where are we here? Zara TJ. Hey guys, greetings from Scotland. First time catching the show live. Well, welcome, Zara. Lord of Midgets, 1 hour and no emails, no show title, no lube. Chris at home is slacking off, and maybe a well-lubed slacking off. You know what? I'm at home, dudes. So, like, you know, relax. In fact, you know, like, I think I'm kind of liking this whole at home thing, because, you know, I'm at home. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And really, I'm at home, and I can sit here with a beer, and, you know, Tolo, Chris's tech terms, fat processor, a fat processor. That's fat. No, it's not. It's a fat processor. Yeah, it's a fat processor, but I'm talking like pH fat. Oh man, Tolo, Chris needs to start IG. I have a ton of IG in here that I got from Gim. There's Bane blades in here. Well, look at, I got the box there. That's all sprues. That's all sprues up here. Like, look at. Hold on. You know what? Here. This. Look at this. Look at this crap. This is all sprues here. I've got like there's a whole Necron army in here. I got Nid bits. Yeah, there's Tau spruce stuff in here. And it's a whole. It's mostly there's Necron in here. There's mostly Necron in here. And of course, in the other bin over here. So in the other bin over here, hold on, I'm gonna move this box out of the way. Yeah, got Bane blades. I got Bane blades out the wazoo over here. See, I got the turret. I don't know, kind of Bane blade is this here? Yeah, there we go. Bane blades. And then we got this one here. Which one's this? Is this a Forge World one? This one might be I think this one's a Forge World one. Or maybe it's a plastic one. I don't know. But he's got a nice big cannon here. He's got the big belly gun. Oh, it still moves. There we go. Bloop, bloop. See, it's not flaccid. Oh, it's a little flaccid. Doesn't stay up. Doesn't want to stay up. Anyway. This one here is my favorite, though. I like this one. The Stormlord. I was actually thinking about painting this one up. And either giving it away or selling it or something like that. And of course, Owen expressed interest in it. I don't know if he still wants it. We haven't talked about it in a while. So, but yeah, I was thinking about painting this one up. I was thinking about doing this kind of like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I see this tank in like the German World War II desert kind of camo scheme. Yeah, I kind of see it in that kind of color scheme where it's that really kind of light mustardy color, but like dirty tracks and just kind of like sandy and yeah, maybe a little bit of battle damage and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. I never noticed the back end looks like a Chimera's back end. Look at that. Doesn't that look like a back end of a Chimera? Isn't that kind of cool? Or is it? Is it the back end of a Chimera? Did Gim make a conversion here? Because I see a lot of cleaning around this. Maybe Gim converted that. Because like I said, I inherited these all from Gim, so... maybe Gim converted this. Gim's going to have to send me a message. I don't know, next time, maybe when he catches this, he's going to have to send me a message. Did he convert that and put that door in the back? So that this kind of logically makes sense on how guys get in this thing? Because it's got the ladder on the side, right? And they run up and, oh, get in. Oh. I don't know if anybody runs into a tank and they make that sound, but... or you run up and, oh, let me get in. Oh. Anyway, I got a ton of tanks here. Got a ton. Metric ton. Like, yeah. Johnny Ray, test from home. What is this madness? Well, it's not really a test. It's just the way this show started. This is supposed to be episode 166, and you know, it just got wonky. But I will, you know, I don't know if I can change the title from here. Well, I can change the title from here. I can do whatever I want. Yeah, we need the Mobius show title: Kris's Flaccid Home Adventure. Ah, man, as much as I don't want to say Kris is flaccid, but I like the name of the show. So, let's go with that. Let's go EP 166. Whatcha? Nope. Whatcha? There we go. There we go. Can we save that? Let's save that. Save. Oh yeah. Doesn't want to save. Awesome. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Thanks for making this great. Oh, man. Okay. So, where am I? +2, in my office at work, where I normally do Way the Brush, I have a multi-monitor setup, and at home I don't quite have the same setup yet. So everything's kind of on this one screen, and everything's fighting for real estate on my display here. But anyway, comments. Episode 166. He's got pants. That's Tolo. Yeah, Matthew Perez, show title, Pants, Shorts, Undies, Who Cares, I'm at home. Oh, I like that one too, that's funny too. Johnny Race, of course I showed up and the first thing I read is Flaccid. I know, Johnny, what is up with that? Every time Johnny shows up, the show just gets derailed, and I don't know. That's funny. Mad Cow Crazy. Hey, Chris, would you mind sending me a large box of sprues? I'll put it to good use on my shelf. Yeah. Weren't you just saying earlier that my office looks like the same as yours? Boxes everywhere? Yeah, you know what, though? But see, again, that's why I want to set up my paint station at home so that I can get this kind of stuff done, right? Because I sure as hell am not bringing all this crap to my office because my office is already loaded with crap anyway. And, like, okay, and you know how, like I mentioned, when we're on this painting slump and you have, like, a lot of projects in front of you and it just kind of discourages you and gets you down? That's like that's like my office. That's why I try and keep everything clear and just keep everything out of the way and just have just my tools and what I'm currently working on in front of me. And that's it. And I think that's what has kept the painting burnout at bay, is that I'm not cluttered with a lot of projects around me, and I just have just what I'm working on. Just I can, it's just like a whole Zen kind of thing where I could just concentrate on just one thing and perfect that, and you know what I mean. And so, yeah, I think anyway. Zera TJ Chris, in respect of Eldar vehicles, would you recommend starting an Eldar force without an airbrush? Yes, definitely. Just start. The hard part when you're just starting out is, what do I want to paint my models? And so Eldar have some really great color guides out there for doing either you can buy the aspect warriors and you can paint them up like their shrine colors, and they have many variations on the shrine colors, or you can paint them like their craft world colors, and it's not unfluffy for them to be in either one. And even if you do say like their shrine colors, but you incorporate your craft world colors into that color scheme, and it works just as well. Jeez, sorry, somebody came onto Steam there and they had a weird name. Anyway, you do, and I mean, you can paint these by hand. You don't have to have an airbrush to paint these models. I mean, like, I started out in this painting just by brush, and it wasn't until like recent years that I actually got into airbrushing. And really, I only got into airbrushing because Badger supports Mini Wargaming, and they advertise through us, and I like their products, and I've been using theirs. I mean, the boys at the office, they use Awada and stuff like that, and I really don't see a reason to switch. I like Badger. I like them brushes, but painting by regular bristle brush, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I always recommend for people starting out new that, concentrate on cleaning the model properly, getting rid of those mold lines, getting rid of those little nubs where it was attached to the sprue, filling gaps, stuff like that. Really concentrate on cleaning the model. Also concentrate on, mastering the priming of the model. Don't over prime your models. Start with either with black or white. I always prefer white because you can always, yeah, thanks, Tolo. He's sending me Steam messages now. Anyway. And, oh, you succeeded, you son of a... You can always, from a white prime, you can always build darker colors or bright colors. Whereas when you prime black, you tend to stay pretty dark with your color scheme. And if you want bright colors, you end up trying to lay white on top, and you end up laying too much damn paint down onto the model, right? And so it becomes a huge pain. And so it's always better off to start off with white or even light gray. I prefer light gray myself. Piss off, man. And I prefer light gray myself because it's a little bit easier on the eyes when I'm under my light. And of course, I always have my lamp nice and close so that you can see. And of course, the other part when you're starting to paint out is have good lighting. It's very, very important to have good lighting. If you can get yourself a good desk lamp with a good daylight bulb, or a light bulb that produces about 5,000 K light spectrum, that's a good daylight, like daylight, and you'll be able to paint very well, because you always want to have bright light, especially when you're trying to get into little nooks and crannies and see what you're doing. And then, of course, the third thing I always recommend is mastering your base coat. So assembly is very key, priming is key, and base coating is key. Mastering thinning your paints down and applying a nice smooth base coat. That is the third thing. And when you're just starting out, just concentrate on those things. And then once you're ready to move on, and you find you're ready to move on, you'll find those next steps very, very easy. And not easy, but easier, I should say. So hopefully, Zara, that helps. And definitely, yeah, you can definitely start Eldar without an airbrush. Definitely. You know, it will take you a little bit more time, but that's fine. This is a hobby. This is something to, you know, occupy, you know, the couple hours we have a week to ourselves kind of thing, right? And you just want to zone out. You want to put your favorite album on, or you want to have your favorite show in the background, or maybe you're listening to this show in the background. I don't know. But either way, definitely, you know, you can do it by brush. And in fact, I recommend most painters start out, you know, painting by brush rather than just jumping to an airbrush, because an airbrush is an entirely different set of skills, and it does require some time to master. But if you are just starting out in painting and you want to just jump right to the airbrush, go right ahead. But it's going to take you a little bit of time to master that as well. So, Tolo, piss off. Sending me freaking messages, man. Stop it. Johnny Wraith at Zara. Vehicles are always much quicker to do than the airbrush. Are you debating on buying one or not? Yeah, that seems like the question, right? Kris, what Chaos faction did you play? I preferred Black Legion. Actually it was Luna Wolves. I loved Horus, the idea of Horus, and, you know, the pre-heresy, Abaddon, you know, or Abaddon. And yeah, my Chaos Legion was mostly Black Legion. All my Marines were Black Legion, but I had like sprinklings of Khorne Marines, Nurgle Marines, Tzeentch Noise Marines. Back when Noise Marines had the big guitars and stuff like that. Yeah, I still had all those, and they were like painted all garish colors and everything like that. You know what? I'm going up north in a few weeks, so yeah. Spoiler. There's not going to be a Way of the Brush a couple weeks from now, so because I'm going to take a vacation. Anyway. And I'm definitely going to have to pull some pictures of my old Chaos models just for you guys. And you can see some of my really old paint jobs. And okay, guys, send me an email saying, Kris, don't forget to take pictures of your old Chaos Marines. Because my brother-in-law, he should still have them. And, because he hasn't played in a while. But I'm pretty sure they're still sitting in his man cave. So, yeah, I'll definitely have to get some pictures of those guys. Yeah. But anyway. Where are we? Johnny Wraith. I see. I don't think it should be such a concern. I have an airbrush, and my scheme still requires that I do lots of stuff with a regular brush. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, people think that, you know, airbrushing is just this thing that's going to make you, you know, an awesome painter or anything like that. It's not. It's often a shortcut to a lot of things, you know. Where are we? Lord of Ages. What's a foot tall pink? What's foot tall, pink, and going to make you regret your life decisions? Your night when you find your children finger painting with marshmallows. Yeah. Cocking 555. Kris, you can turn that off if you go into settings and then fiends. Oh, for the for the Steam messages? No, that's just Tolo being a douche. He's being a douche. I'm a douche, bro. Let's do an email and get ready. Turn your volumes down because here it comes. Email time. It's email time. This is an email from Anthony. This is about the Las Vegas. Oh, wait. This is what the Las Vegas Open. Forgot to name it, but here's the link. Oh, I think we were talking about that one episode. A few episodes ago here. Hold on. Let's go back. Aquamaster. Oh, it's just Aquamaster. It's Lego. Lego trying to be funny here. Okay, here we go. I think this is the right one, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, crap. His email's showing. Sorry, Lego. Email showing. Maybe let's go like so. And so, there we go. I should have just did that from the start. Anyway, hey Kris, Aquamaster here. Is there any good starter tips for Warhammer 40k? Because I was wondering about Warhammer 40k about 13 years old. I painted some Space Marines, but I don't know where they are. Thank you. Don't want to say my name. Aquamaster. don't want to say my name. What, Lego? I like Lego. I don't know. That's what you first introduced me to, is Lego. And, yeah. But is your name Tom? Is your name Tom? It's not Lego, it's Tom. Anyway. Any good starter tips for getting into 40K? Really, I think when you're getting into this hobby, you know, it's not follow the crowd, but where you have a good club setting and, you know, you're buying white dwarfs and, you know, you're kind of getting... Buy the models that look cool to you and peruse those things. Peruse those collections. And I mean, peruse being, you know, search through them and, you know, research and stuff like that. Really kind of look through them, absorb what they're about, read the background on stuff. See what really appeals to you. And then start buying that army, you know? Don't get caught up in... Some people will tell you, don't get that army because they really, really suck. Because right now is a great time to get into 40K because the whole new edition changed. The game has changed entirely. And so everybody who's been playing this game for years has to relearn this game, essentially. And this is a fantastic time right now to get into Warhammer 40K. If you're brand new to the hobby, or if you've been on the fence about getting in on the hobby, it's a great time. And definitely, you know, pick the models that appeal to you. And what colors, you know what I mean? Like what appeals to you? Like, do Space Marines appeal to you? Do Eldar appeal to you? Tyranids, you know, Orcs, Necron, you know what I mean? Like all these different, there's so many different factions, and they all visually look different. And they all have a different play style. And yeah, don't worry about what other people say once. Don't get that army. That army completely sucks, or they're completely overpowered, or you know what I mean, like they have no good close combat, or blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like people will voice their opinions on how an army plays all day long, and you know the saying about opinions, right? What matters is what you think and what you like, and go with it. You know. I mean, I like a lot of the different styles of the armies, but I always come back to Eldar because I like the aesthetics of Eldar. I like that look of the Eldar. I like the combination of harder edges with soft curvatures and these gemstones and these really fine details that run along the surfaces, and the whole look of the Eldar is just really, really cool. I like them. They could very well be humans or elves or some other freaky deaky alien, and I still would play them, if you know, because they look cool. And you know, again, the background is what appeals to me as well. So yeah, don't take too hard to what people say is, you know, like, oh, that army sucks and this is good and this is, you should only be playing this way and blah 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 blah. You know, so don't worry about that kind of crap. You know, jeez. Hey, you know what? I think I'm getting pretty darn caught up here in my emails. Guys, gonna have to start sending me more, otherwise I'm not gonna have a show to do. Anywho, let's do another email, and this one is from Soupinghawk67. Kris, greetings, good sir. Some time ago, can't remember, I asked you how to get Altanzar craft world color. You mentioned using Screamer Pink with either Cardboard Crimson or Druchii Violet. After some testing, I settled on Screamer Pink solely. What you are about to see quite literally made my very first painting, and still rough and not much focus on detail yet. Some discolorations you may see are repairs with brush. All painting done with airbrush minus the canopy. A question I pose to you for now is, what color would you recommend for the Soulstone? Because the Screamer Pink does have a strong purple hue to it. I was thinking of using a blue, possibly Citadel Soulstone blue. Critiques, tips, advice, and shenanigans that entail thereafter are all welcome. Note about the scheme: if you read about Altanzar's colors in 7th edition Codex, it is stated that the white, although it's more bone-looking, is to represent the bones of their ancestors. The black is to honor Mugen Ra, and their main color, the reddish purple, is to represent the seas of blood shed in defense of their craft world. So I wanted to try showing all aspects. P.S. Not sure why pictures make Screamer Pink look so much brighter compared to seeing it in person. It's just the way the camera and the white balance and, you know, all that gibbly gook. But anywho, here is the picture. Let me just adjust this a little bit. So as you can see here, and he said this is mostly applied by airbrush. Well, as you can kind of see, you know, actually this doesn't show my mouse, does it? I don't know if this shows my mouse, but anyway, you can kind of see, you know, the airbrushing, overbrushing, and stuff like that. Keeping things separate. What I used to do, especially for my Falcon grav tanks, when I was painting these things and I was speeding up my process, was that I was leaving the bottom hull and the top hull separate, so that I could airbrush the top one color and airbrush the bottom part. I'd airbrush, because of some Han, I'd airbrush the bottom parts black, and so that I could get these metal bits here and the intakes here without having to, you know, do it by brush. And then I would clean the contact points off and then, you know, glue it together once it was all said and done. I did my fire prisms that way and most of my wave serpents that way. But anywho, I think it looks great. I think, you know, obviously you laid it out nicely with the airbrush. I like the color scheme. Looks really darn cool. Any touch-ups? I mean, no, I mean, I don't really, it doesn't really matter. And I mean, like, these are your first paint jobs. There's bound to be a few little errors here and there. Getting that white on that area can be a bit tricky. I do kind of like how the canopy looks, you know, separated from the rest of the thing. I think if you're going to do the weapons, I think the weapons would look cool if you did them white as well. The gemstones, yeah, I think a blue, or using that soulstone blue, would definitely be something to try. Of course, now this is something that I tried at one point. I do believe I showed it in a video once long ago, using those technicals, because there's a green and a blue technical, right? Those excuse me, the gemstone technical colors. Excuse me, getting dry here. I need something to drink. Taking a little bit of blue and mix it into like almost like a 2-to-1 of green and blue. Mix them together, get a bit of a turquoise color, lay that bright silver down, and then lay that mixture down on those gemstones and get a bit of a turquoise color. I think that would blow people's minds. The blue will work just fine. I think blue is definitely the way to go. Green, yeah, green might not play so well, and red, you know. Another one, but they don't make the technical for it, and I've mentioned this before that they should. I don't know why GW never made a technical for this, is yellow. They should have a yellow. To make a nice yellow gemstone. A yellow would be kind of cool, but I mean, it would look cool if you did it like how we do gemstones. Basically, start off with a dark black or brown and build up to that yellow, and so that you have this nice amber look, versus just taking it silver and slapping a yellow on top. Because you could take, say, like what is the yellow, Lamenter's yellow, and lay that on top of the silver, and it should get you a similar look as if they had made the technical for it. But, you know, I mean, that might be too striking. But I think taking 2 green with 1 blue, mix them together, make your own turquoise technical color, and lay that on those gemstones, and I think that would blow people away. I think that would be really awesome. Yeah, definitely I would go with something like that. So Swooping Hawk, thanks for the email. Hopefully that helps. And, you know, send me an email on your progress, because I'd really like to know how you did. Where are we in the comments? Wow, where are we? I don't even know. Johnny Wraith, I would actually like to see really dark purple gemstones for this. You had really dark gemstone, really purple, really purple. Really dark purple gemstones actually would be very cool as well. I think that would be. I think that would be very cool. Matthew Perez, heard they were meh, but I will look into them. Forgot that they just came out not long ago. I'm not sure where. That's part of a conversation I'm not a part of. Tolo, question: can you burn paint off a metal mini? 3 days soaking a nail polish remover has done nothing. I can't believe that. A nail polish remover should remove everything. Because, I mean, like, if it's strong enough, like, nail polish remover is strong enough to remove an enamel, and it definitely will eat through acrylic. So, whatever you painted your model with, I don't know. If a nail polish remover can't remove that off a metal model, I don't know what you've done. I don't know what you've used. Yeah, I mean, sandblasting. That's your other option, sandblast it. I remember there was a kit a while back that had, I think it was like aluminum flakes or something in it. And you could sandblast, or like maybe it was small mica flakes. But I remember there was an airbrush sandblasting kit. I remember that. I think Chung on Wargamer Consortium, I think he had a video on that. Using this little mini sandblaster. When using a little mini sandblaster though, I think you should use a separate airbrush. So just to not ruin, because I'm pretty sure it will take the finish off your airbrush. And so if you had more of a utility type of airbrush, or something with a larger nozzle, more like a hobby brush, but more of a gravity feed, because I don't think a siphon feed would work as well. That's speculation, but I'm pretty sure there is a miniature sandblasting kit out there. And so Tolo, if you really can't get that paint off, look into getting a miniature sandblasting kit, because I'm pretty sure that they do have one. Tolo, you can sandblast with baking soda. I want to try it one day. Hey, no time like the present, dude. If you think you can do it with baking soda, I have no idea what this miniature sandblasting kit entails. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was Chung from Wargaming Consortium. I'm pretty sure that was it. I don't know if it was baking soda or what it was, but yeah. Samuel Berg at Kris, do you have any experience with Cromlech weathering powder? I am attempting to pick up a set. Cromlech's weathering powders should be just like everybody else's weathering powders, like Vallejo, Secret Weapon. There's a bunch of weathering pigments out there. Pigments are just pigments. Like we call them weathering pigments, but they're just raw pigment. And raw pigment essentially is just what is the basic foundation of every paint. You add a linseed oil to it, and it becomes oil paint. You add an acrylic binder to it, it becomes acrylic paint. You know what I mean? Pigment is just this fine powder. And good pigment, when you kind of shake the bottle, or like kind of like violently jolt the bottle, and you open the cap, and you can kind of see the powder just floating in the air, just like vapor, almost like talcum powder. That's when you know it's a good pigment, and it's nice and fine, because that's what you're looking for, really fine. And it's hard to do with Secret Weapons pigments, but Vallejo comes in nice big bottles, and you just jolt that bottle and you open it up, and you can see just the pigment just floating in the air. And good pigment will float in the air. You should wear like a dust mask or something when dealing with pigments, because like I said, that stuff is just floating in the air, and when you're dabbing it onto the model, it'll just float into the air. But a really good pigment will do that. A good pigment will do that. And so use with Cromlech weathering powders, no, I have not used their weathering powders. I've not even used Forge World weathering powders. Maybe I'll have to pick up a set of Cromlech and Forge World just to try out. There's so many different paint lines, there's so many different products out there these days, there's so many. And I really wish I had access to it all. And that's kind of in part why I did, kind of why I started to do the Patreon thing, because that kind of extra resources can basically be the hub of this kind of information, which I think everybody would find useful, especially if I've had a chance to play with it for a while, and gain some experience with it. And and when people ask me, I can say, well, I can honestly answer, yeah, I've used it, and here's what I found with it, right? It's kind of like the nail polish thing, because I'm definitely going to use what I learned from that on a model, and you'll see that soon enough. With the Cromlech though, I can't say. I've not used it. I can only imagine that their pigments are probably decent or good, because pigments are pigments. They're all pretty much the same. So hopefully they are good. Hopefully they're not something cheap. Hopefully they didn't cheapo their way through getting pigments and went through a proper distributor. Because see, Vallejo, I really like their pigments, because Vallejo is a big proper paint company. They make their pigments, those raw pigments they sell, those are the pigments they put in their paints. And so they're a big proper painting company, and that's why I trust their pigments, and that's why I often trust Vallejo companies Vallejo's products, because they are a proper company, because they also produce oil paints and other artist equipment, along with this little side part of their business, which is miniatures, which is probably a small portion of their business. Miniature paints, like we all know, Vallejo is a name we all know, but they're a big paint company. Like they have artist grade stuff and everything like that. Like I'm sure that they're probably more famous for their artist grade stuff than they are the miniature paints. But I don't know. I can't say. I'm not privy to that information. So, I have no idea. I've never talked with any reps from Vallejo either. I don't think I've ever met any. Which would be kind of interesting, because it'd be kind of fun to kind of get to know their product line and what what they plan to do for the future. And of course, if they asked me input for what I thought they should be doing, what they could be doing, and if they were looking, but they're not looking, they know what they're doing. So everybody's talking about sandblasting with baking soda, so give it a shot. I mean, running it through your good airbrush, I mean, Tolo, if nail polish remover is not working on a metal miniature, I don't know what you painted with. What did you paint with? Oh, you bought the used mini, no idea what they used. I have no idea what they used. I can't imagine what they used. I mean, if nail polish remover ain't doing it, man, I have no idea, because that should do it. Nail polish remover is the most corrosive stuff that you can soak a miniature in. And, I mean, other than hydrochloric acid, in which case you probably melt or dramatically change the model. So, yeah. Damien Hibbert, Chung is awesome. Yeah, Chung is pretty awesome. I've only talked to him like I think once or twice. I know he's been busy with like a lot of other things in life, and so he's kind of stepped away a lot from the wargaming world, which is unfortunate, because I mean he brought an interesting perspective on things, and I know like the wargaming consortium, I know he was in charge of all that, and that was his thing, and yeah, but hey, life, right? Samuel Berg, if you're having difficulties to remove paint, soak the mini for a day in simple green and then scrub it hard using a toothbrush and soak and repeat until, that simple green. But I mean, he said he's using nail polish remover. And I mean, I can't fathom what else is resistant to nail polish remover. That's an acetone solution. Now, it might not be as harsh as, say, lacquer thinner, which, man, lacquer thinner, that was gasoline. Oof, man, I got buzzed when I was spraying that through the airbrush in my first nail polish test. Holy man, that was brutes. I definitely killed some brain cells, and I definitely dropped probably a point of an IQ on that day. Mad Cow Crazy, there is an airbrush sandblasting kit you can buy. Basically an airbrush with a large nozzle that shoots powder. Yeah. Everybody's saying it's baking soda. So if you can get yourself, like, I know, like, the Badger 350 or whatever is essentially a large hobby brush for for airbrushing and stuff like that. It's basically this big thick cone. It's not even a needle. It's like a piece of brass sharpened to a point, and you can give that a shot. You know what I mean? I really wouldn't use like my good Patriot 105 to shoot baking soda through. That's something where I just kind of the old sphincter just. Yeah, I really couldn't do it. Tildenator. Woot woot. Woot woot. Woot woot woot. Woot woot woot. That's fun to say. Woot. Woot woot woot. Samuel Berg. Kris, any tips on applying it to a model? Applying what? What were we talking about? I don't know what we were talking about. I've already forgotten. The baking soda or the pigments? Oh, applying the pigments onto the model. I have many videos in Mini Wargaming's Vault on applying pigments for like rust effects and different various effects. It's often rust effects, weathering, stuff like that. But basically, in a nutshell, there's two ways that I like to apply pigments to a model. That's either having a nice old beat up, not really used for much brush, putting it into the pigment, and then dabbing it onto the model where I want it, right? And working it into the crevices, stuff like that, working into the model, and then setting it with mineral spirits. You can also use isopropyl alcohol, but I often like to use mineral spirits. And then you just touch the area and the mineral spirit. Now, you kind of have to overdo it on an area when using mineral spirits and even when sealing the model. So you want to like really kind of overdo an effect. And then once you hit them with mineral spirits and then once you seal the model, the effect becomes a little bit more subdued. So don't be afraid to kind of overdo an area a bit. It takes experimentation to get the effect that you want and kind of like really kind of what I'm talking about here, but that's kind of what you have to do. Is you kind of have to overdo it a bit, and then when you seal the pigment with mineral spirits and then you seal the model, it all kind of takes the effect down a bit. And but the other way I like to apply pigments as well, and this is a really fun way to apply pigments, and it really creates a texture. It creates this very, very, very subtle texture on the model, and I really like it for creating kind of rust that looks like barnacle-y kind of rust. Like rust kind of just like barnacles. It just kind of comes off the surface like that. It's really great for like Nurgle models and things like that. And basically what you do is you apply the mineral spirits or rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, to the surface. Then you dunk your brush, the dirty old beat up brush, and you have it loaded with the pigment in the bristles, and then you tap the brush, and the pigment falls down and hits the surface, and it collects on the mineral spirit point, and the mineral spirit obviously soaks up into the pigment, and it adheres the pigment to the surface. And so as you build this texture up, and so you often with rusts, like Vallejo is a really great rust kit with 4 pigments. It's like a dark brown, and then it's all these other umber colors and siennas, and you can build up a really great effect by dark and then getting lighter and really kind of bright rust colors. Really fantastic. And I really like that effect where you build this up and it really creates this barnacle-y kind of rust, and it's really fantastic. And of course then when you seal the model, it takes the effect down a bit, but the texture still remains, and it's really awesome. Working with pigments is really great. It's really great when you are doing it on like scale models and doing kind of going for more realism, because pigments, you can even like shade a model in pigments. You start getting really good with pigments, and you can use like clay shapers and stuff like that, where you can shape the transitions with pigment, because the pigment is such a fine powder. It's such a minimal amount on the surface. Like it takes a lot of pigment to like really build up, but I mean like it takes a lot. But yeah, it's really fun and fantastic. I do have a bunch of videos in Mini Wargaming Vault. If you're a Vault member, just go check those out. You probably type in pigments or rust effects, and you'll get other videos on it. So check that out. I don't have a link in the description below, but I mean, check them out if you're a Vault member. I don't know if you are or not. I think you are, but yeah, definitely check that out. Old Man Logan. Ow! Clumsy Juggler, the Airbrush Sandblast Etcher is a Pache air eraser. Okay, there we go. So search that up, Pache's air eraser. I was pretty sure Badger did one too, but I could be completely wrong. I don't know. I'm not. Like I said, I'm really not that interested in sandblasting a model as far as taking the paint off. But who's to say, right? What time we at here? Oh, 1:55. That's okay. We're only a minute and 45 into the show, so we're still gonna run a little bit long because again the show was delayed a little bit because again I'm at home doing the thing in my area, and of course I don't even have a nice little backdrop. But anyway, you know what? Here, hold on. Don't look. No, it's this one. There we go. There. In case everybody forgot what show we were watching. I don't think anybody forgot. Maybe some people try to put it out of their minds. It's like, oh man, I tuned into this dummy again. Anyway. Yeah, Samuelberg weathering powder, yeah. So hopefully, Samuel, that answered your question about the weathering powder. Like I said, I have a bunch of videos in the vault. I don't know if I have any on my channel. I might, but I wouldn't count on it. But yeah, so Matthew Perez, I'm hack you. You guys didn't see crap. Wait, hold on. Crap, you might have seen my password. Son of a beehive. Oh man. Inspirational Mini. Hi Kris. Finally got it live. Well, welcome Inspirational Mini. Inspirational Mini. Well, send me an email. Are you a really fantastic painter? Please send me an email, because I like seeing really great paint jobs. David Taylor, they let Kris out of his cage. Yeah, well, it's more of a dungeon than a cave or a cage. It's more like a dungeon cell. Dorton Jr. at Kris. Dave mentioned the Mini Wargamer bunker move yesterday. Do you have any ideas, wishes for your new studio? I do. Dave came to me a few weeks back because this move thing, we've kind of mostly kept it kind of, hush hush. But if Dave's talking about it, then, I'll fill you in. So basically, yeah, we are going to be planning to move. It's not going to be for a while, but everything is in motion to make a move. We're basically changing our physical location of where we are. And basically, we are basically going to have to renovate the entire space where we're moving. And so, but that provides a really great opportunity to fix, change, and, create something else, create something new, and of course, Dave, a few weeks back had asked me for a wish list on what I'd like to see in my new office. And honestly, I have no idea what I would need in my office. I obviously need my computers, I obviously need my painting station, I need lamps, I need cameras, I mean, these are all pretty basic things, and, but the thing I thought of was changing the office so it doesn't look like a regular office. I actually would like to do it more like one of the studio rooms. You know how we have, Dave has the Zone Mortalis room, and Matt has the War Zone room, and we have the Orc room, and we have, what else? Oh, Steve has the Mountain Forge room, and you know what I mean? We have these different rooms, and I kind of would like to have my office have a theme, essentially. But what kind of theme could I go for? I've often thought of something dark and evil, kind of looking like something out of, H.R. Giger's work. I've often thought of maybe it looks a little bit like Star Wars, kind of the command room of Star Wars kind of thing, where, you have those light up panels and stuff. I also thought of something that looked a bit like Star Trek, with kind of the brown and, beiges and wall panels, kind of the clear kind of, or a black kind of glossy wall panel kind of stuff. And, I've thought of a few ideas like that, but the monkey room, Matthew Perez, the monkey room. Yeah, the monkey room, sure, I mean, what looks like, a monkey pen? Sure. I mean, I don't want it to look like the zoo. You know what I mean? It looks like a bunch of monkey cages, and it looks like I'm in a zoo. I don't know. I think that might depress me. I think if I felt like I was surrounded in a cage. The Eldar Wraith room. Oh, Eldar, yeah. That's Les Sorensen. Les Sorensen. Anyway, Eldar Wraith room. Oh, an Eldar room. Yeah, it looks like Wraithbone. Oh man, that would look kind of cool, wouldn't it? I like that idea. Yeah, with a theme. Planet of the Apes. Jabba's left nut. Come on, man. Tolo at Johnny Reed. Oh, why? What did Johnny Reed say? Kris could get a Nurgle burn room. Nurgle bum room. Nurgle bum room. It looks like Nurgle. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, Nurgly room. Kind of just disgusting walls and kind of dripping goo and everything like that. You know what? That would actually be kind of cool too. I actually thought, I was thinking Star Trek, kind of high tech, or maybe Star Wars, because I love Star Wars, and I often thought something that looked how the Rebel command rooms kind of look. Not Imperial. I don't know if, well, maybe Imperial would be kind of cool too, because I was telling the boys actually, what would be kind of funny is if I had my office. It looked like Darth Vader's command room, where it's kind of the gray and has the stairs and everything like that. And then I had that little pod that Darth Vader's in, you know what I mean? And so then I could have all my painting stuff inside there. And then when anybody kind of comes in, I could just open up, sit there. And yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun. Ghost of Starman Deluxe, a literal cave. Yeah. Green screen your room. Yeah, or you can have the whole room green screened. Yeah, and then just have this vibrant green all the time coming into the corners of my eyes all the time. Yeah, I mean, because I think really what I would like to do is I'd like to change up the way my office functions as far as how I film film the quick tips. And I have a really an idea for changing the way quick tips is filmed. And it requires maybe 1 or 2 cameras, and because basically I would like to be able to film the show. Like, it'd be kind of nice if I could film the show where I can show what I'm doing, I can show how I'm positioning myself doing the painting, and then also showing my palette, kind of a bit like how Games Workshop films the show, but it would just be me. And I think I could still get the same amount of work done, but it would be a question of how I finagled all 3 cameras while I'm painting. And I think it would require a bit more prep time, but I think we'd get a far better product. I mean, like right now, Quick Tips, is about as good as it can go with just me, and at the pace I have to work at is, if I had somebody else helping me with it, and say for example somebody like a cameraman and an editor, in which case I just had to work on just the painting, and I had somebody who was just editing it, I think we could get a lot more done, or get it done looking better. But otherwise, if it's just me, doing that kind of setup, like I said, like right now how it all works is pretty much I think about as efficient as it can get. I don't know. I mean, that's a guess. But anyway, yeah. I like the idea of the Wraith room, the Wraith themed room. I think that'd be kind of cool. Johnny Wraith. Nerd! Tolo, Slanesh room. Ooh, boost your male viewers up with live models. I don't know if you'd want to see Slanesh type models there, because Slanesh demons and stuff all tend to be very hermaphrodite. And I mean, if trannies are your thing, I suppose, I mean, more power to you, but I don't know. Tolo, if Kris goes with the Nurgle Bum Cave, he will have to wear a hoodie and sunglasses so I can call him the Unibummer. Are you high? I think you might be high in there, buddy. Really quickly here, I think let's try and finish off the show with a couple more emails. So, because I think I'm almost completely caught up here. So, headphones times, because here comes an intro. email time. Email time. Oh, man. So this is, oh crap, this is from James. Hi Kris, I have painted several test models for different Space Marine chapters. If you have a few minutes, could you please give me some feedback and perhaps even let me know which of the chapters you prefer based on how each is painted. I am trying to decide which chapter paint the rest of my army, or if I should try yet another chapter such as White Scars. Thanks, Old Man Logan. And so Old Man Logan. Do we have a few pictures here? Oh, we got a few pictures here. Oh, sweet. Okay, so let's go there. Hold on, let me adjust my settings. Can I back this up here? Can I back this up? Where is the backup here? Crap, I can't back this up. So anyway, here we have an Imperial Fist, the Dark Angel, Ultramarine. I'm not sure what this black one is. Could be Raven Guard or something. And then we have sort of Blood Angel here. Now, as far as like looking at these color schemes, I think the Imperial Fist looks great, and I think the Dark Angels looks fantastic. I like the way you've done like the weathering on the bolt gun. I think that looks very, very cool. Here's another perspective, really fast. Your adherence to the decals and stuff like that, like you putting the decals on, fantastic. Really good stuff. I think for the Blood Angels, or at least this Blood Angel-like scheme, I like the darker cases. I'm not a big fan of the entirely metal. But I guess it kind of gives them that regal kind of look, you know, with the gold and everything like that. And Blood Angels kind of have that gold. But yeah. Yeah, that one looks cool. I like that one better. That looks nice and clean. Looks pretty straightforward. Yeah, that's pretty darn good too. Are we looking at these okay? Yeah, we are. Yeah, I like the scheme. I like the wear. I like how you do like the edges on the metal, like the fully worn edge to a really old kind of paint job on the gun itself. I like that. Ultramarine, I like the ultramarine. Yeah, I'd like to see like tighter highlights on the ultramarine. I don't know why. I'm just picky that way, I guess. I think really your best example of your painting and of the scheme is the Imperial Fist or the Dark Angel. Did we get a close-up of the Dark Angel? Hey, we didn't get a close-up of the Dark Angel. Why didn't we get a close-up of the Dark Angel? Anyway, I think the Dark Angel, I like the way you painted the Dark Angel here. Let's let me make sure I'm framed properly here. Yeah, the way you did the Dark Angel here, I'd like to see that kind of highlighting across the rest of them. How you got some really nice tight and got a gradient going on there. It's a little broad on the helmet here, but like where you got the shoulder pads and the armor and the knee and everything like that, it looks great. Like I'd like to see that level of highlighting, like on the yellow, the blue, the black. The red kind of works for me too, though. As you know, as I don't know, I just like the red being more solid, but like the blue ultramarine, I'd like to see like tighter highlights like this. Like this looks great. Like your Dark Angel looks really fantastic, and I wish you had a close-up of it because I like the weathering. Like I like how you did the weathering on the guns. Yeah, I mean, I'd go Dark Angel. Dark Angels are really cool. Yeah. I mean, Dark Angels are fun. I like the way you did the Imperial Fist too. It's nice and clean. It's nice and bright. But otherwise, like how you highlighted this guy, I would like to see that highlighting across. I mean, especially on the black one here, because the highlights are really, really subdued. And I'd like to see just a hair more highlighting. Doesn't have to go brighter. Just got to go a little tighter. You know? Like here, like highlighting on the arm, those highlights look nice and sharp. And I'd like to see that across, you know, all of them. But otherwise, Old Man Logan, hopefully that helped. Hopefully, you know, inspires you to get something else done and get some more of those Marines done. But yeah, very cool. Was that it? Yeah, I think that was it for that one, eh? Yeah. So let's go to... Oh, you know what? I think I am done with these emails. Hey, you guys got to send me more emails because this is gonna be this is my last email. I'm all caught up on emails. Can you guys believe that? This one, we're gonna do this email too, and this is from our good buddy Johnny Wraith. And I'm showing this freaking email again. Oops, sorry, buddy. Oh man. Can't get any more unprofessional than that, right? Anyway, this is our buddy Johnny Wraith. Hey Chris, as I mentioned in one of the last live shows, life had forced me to take a break from painting for the last few months. As things had begun to settle down, I felt it was time to get back to work, and I decided to start with something that was familiar to me as opposed to an entirely new project. In the pics, you'll see the latest 10 Wraith Guard I painted, as well as the finished Hornets and Wraith Lord. Eldrad is just there to be a douche and trying to steal the show. Never mind him. To be a douche. I'm a douche, bro. I decided a pic that shows a Wraith Blade and a Wraith Guard side by side. The Wraith Blades were the models where I first did the scheme on. I think it shows a nice evolution of the scheme and also how I'm trying to be a bit more deliberate with it. Trying to find more contrasting tones and patterns. Looking forward to the feedback. Your buddy, Giancarlo, aka Johnny Wraith. And I think I said Giancarlo correctly that time, hopefully. Otherwise, you know, hey, name butcher. And so here is a picture of the army. And I like the snowy trees in the background. It's like, ooh, it's Christmas time. Anyway, here are his Wraith army, and I love this color scheme that he's come up with. I love this. I love the warm, creamy bone color of everything, contrasted with that nice dark teal, that dark turquoise. I really like this color scheme. You know, if I could steal this color scheme, I would, but I'm not because I like my Samhan. But this is a really fantastic color. This is a close second for me as far as color schemes go. I don't know. Remember, did Johnny Wraith? Did you just come up with this all by yourself, or did you borrow this idea from somewhere else? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's so much fun. It's such a nice contrast. I like the chevrons and everything like that. Really great stuff, and I like the whole group force now. Now, is this your whole army for as far as your Eldar force is concerned? Is this the whole thing or what? But anyway, oh, here's a nice little close up. Oh, I'm gonna make sure I'm in frame for this all. I love the canopies done in this color. Is that a particular color you picked up, or did you mix that color? I like the cowls on the Wraith. I like the incorporation of the 3 little dots for that spot highlight. Oh. Now, the blue on the chevrons. Were you spraying that through some sort of substrate, like a cheesecloth or scouring pad or something like that? Because that looks friggin' fantastic. I really like that effect. See, I initially had done it, I think, on the swords, I think, for my Wraiths. And I'm wondering if that's a similar idea that you had applied here. That's really fantastic, by the way. That looks really great. The canopies. What did you use for those canopies, Johnny? Oh, you came up with it. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's a fantastic use of color, man. The really warm white is just really awesome. The canopies are a mix. Okay, so anybody who wants to duplicate that kind of color, Johnny, would you just mind enlightening us with what the color is that you got to achieve for those canopies? Would you please? And also, did you airbrush through something to get that mottled look with the blue on the chevrons and on the like the detail stripes and stuff? The Wraith Lord looks freaking great. So here's his Wraith Guard. The snowiness mixed with the earth and everything. Love the effect on the helmets. Really awesome. He's got a little bit of a glow on the guns. That's nice. I didn't catch that before. Love the gemstones on him. Excuse me. I love these. I love this color scheme. It's just really fantastic. Oh, I see. Nice little contrast between the Wraith Blades and the Wraith Guard. Very, very cool. Yeah, much sharper there. I like it. I like it on the Wraith Blade, but I like it on the Wraith Guard as well. And I think having the two separate, yeah, it looks really sharp. The Wraith Blades being really weathered up next to the Wraith Guard, it does make sense because they would be, beat up and closer in against the enemy versus the Wraith Guard, who would be at distance more often. So it's, the difference in weathering, seems logical. Even though I think you mentioned that this was a change in technique, I think. Really, Eldrad's there to be a dick or a douche. He's a douche, bro. Johnny Wraith. Where's this thing? Yeah, canopies were a mix. Oh, Johnny Wraith. Yeah, and yes, it is a scratch pad technique for the blue pattern. Awesome. Awesome. Kieta Colors is sending me an email. Awesome. Yeah, so everybody send me an email because this is Johnny Wraith. This was 4 days ago he sent this. So I am all caught up on the emails, kids. So send the emails, please. Otherwise, I'm not going to do the show. No, I'm just kidding. I'd still do the show. But anyway, yeah, fantastic stuff. Of course, Johnny's shown close-ups of the other stuff like the Wraith Lord and his Wraith Blades in previous episodes. Johnny's techniques just get better and better every time I look at his work. And, it fills me with happiness to see him progress, and I'm sure a lot of you who've been painting alongside and taking my advice and taking the monkey's advice and concentrating on being a better painter and improving your craft, it fills me with warmth that, you know, you're getting much better. And Johnny Wraith is a perfect example of the level of progression, because we can go back a whole bunch of shows and we can see Johnny's earlier stuff. It looks great, but we can look at his stuff now and we're like, wow, it's just mind-blowing. That's the sound of your mind blowing. That. And it's not like poop. It's like brain. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with any of that. But anyway, thank you for the email, Johnny. Awesome, awesome stuff. It's fantastic. I love when you send in the updates on your painting. And it's always much appreciated. Where are we in these comments? I could not say. Chaotic Colors email sent. Very cool. Thank you. Old Man Logan just sent a couple of Dark Angel close-ups if you have time. And those Eldar are sweet. Johnny Ray, thank you, Old Man Logan. Yeah, no, Johnny, I again, really awesome stuff. Thank you for sending that in. And I like seeing progress reports. I like getting all your progress reports, especially for some of you guys who've been longtime viewers and you've been sending stuff in somewhat regularly. Now, I mean, I say somewhat regular. Like if you sent an email a year ago, that's still pretty regular. You know, because I mean, like, you know, some people, they don't have all that amount of time. And Johnny, you know, he took a break for a bit. And, you know, I mean, it happens to all of us. You know, we take a break. And I mean, like, you know, you got to take care of life first. And, you know, that's more important. This is just a hobby. This is just, you know, to, you know, some alone time, some kind of regathering your thoughts kind of time. And that's really what this is. And, you know, real life takes precedence every time. So, Inspirational Mini, what was the email again? The email address is Kris, K-R-I-S, at miniwargaming.com. Normally it's in the description below, but because I had to do finagling today, it's not there. It says like test at home, which is not, this is not a test. I've done tests before, although this kind of was a test at home. Yeah, or Kris at mini, or Kris Bello dot, but it's Kris at miniwargaming. Kris at miniwargaming is fine. Of course, or the other one, I guess. Yeah, the other one's fine as well. Yeah, what time are we at here? Oh, 2 minutes, or 7 minutes after 2. We've done 2 hours. Holy crap, it's already 20 after 2. Eastern Standard Time, of course. I think we're all caught up on the emails. Awesome. So send more emails. Send more emails. Send more emails. Send more. Sorry, that was like pinching. I don't know why. Yeah. So I might film something else later today. But yeah, I'll probably post it on Twitter. If I do like a Twitch show or something, because that's probably what I'll do. If I'm doing a live, I'll probably do Twitch, because I might do some gaming. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Johnny Wraith, he answered me about the canopies thing. The canopies are Tamiya clear. He's pretty sure, he thinks it's a 3-to-1 ratio of blue to green. So it's 3 blue and 1 green. 3 blue, 1 green? Okay. 3 blue, 1 green. Tamiya clear. That's what he used. So awesome stuff. That's what I use. I use Tamiya clears to do my canopies as well. But he has such a nice rich blue. And so he just threw a little touch of green in there just to get a little bit of a teal look. And that's what really deepened it up. How many layers would you say that was, Johnny? Like 1 or 2 layers on the canopy? Usually I only do like maybe 1, maybe 2. But yeah. So just really quickly, Johnny, if you're still paying attention, how many layers did you put on those canopies? Because like it's a nice deep blue on there. It looks fantastic. Also, did you use the airbrush or did you apply it by hand? That's another part to that question. Yeah, so again, keep those emails rolling in, because otherwise, you know, well, I do have a reason to do the show, but it's a lot more fun when we have some emails, because I do like getting these little progress reports of everybody on you know, how they're painting and what they're doing, and you know, so yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to see if Johnny answers me or not, but I know there's a delay from, you know, what we do in here. And of course, let me know if you guys like, you know, this at home. I kind of like this. I didn't have a beer with me. I could just go run upstairs, grab a beer, but I'm not, because I'm gonna end the show and then go run grab a beer. Oh, Johnny Race answered me. Here we go. Yeah, it's maybe 2 layers, and he applied it by regular brush. So there we go. So everybody out there who wants to achieve a similar effect of what Johnny's doing, and what some of you might have seen me do on my models. Johnny did it by brush. I do it by brush as well. I recently did my links. I applied yellow on my links, and I did it by airbrush, but I didn't show what I did. But I applied it by brush or airbrush. It gave me a slightly different effect. It actually gave me a bit of a hazy effect, and it was okay. But it gave me a slightly hazy effect from using the airbrush rather than applying it by brush and thinning it down with alcohol and applying it by brush. So, lesson learned. I mean, maybe I over-thinned the paint. Maybe that's what I did when I did it by airbrush. But anyway, so thank you, Johnny, for sending for replying to that. That's very cool. Oh, the paint is kind of tricky to apply, especially on that curved surface. Yeah, Tamiya is, because again, Tamiya is more like a lacquer-based paint than it is an acrylic paint. They say it's acrylic, but it acts more like a lacquer. So I don't know. Gordon Jr., Kris, Molson or Labatt? Actually, I drink a lot of Corona these days, just because it's got a lower carb count than Molson or Labatt. But usually, if I'm drinking any kind of Canadian beer, I usually like Moosehead or Steam Whistle. Steam Whistle is another good Canadian one. Those are kind of not local, but they're in Toronto, so it's kind of local. But anyway, I know Moosehead's, I think, somewhere else. I think Moosehead's like Brampton. Oh, and is it, what the hell is it? Jim Ready? Anyway, I can't remember the hell the other beer is. It's really good though. It's filling. Anyway, yeah, I think we're done. I've gone a little bit over. I think we were a little bit delayed today. So any questions, comments? You want help on a color scheme? Maybe maybe you're brand new to this and you need to ask your questions and you're just not sure where, because sometimes sometimes some places are very new people unfriendly. They're not noob friendly, and so I like to think that this is a very newbie friendly kind of environment. So ask your questions, send your emails to chris@miniwargaming.com. It'll be in the description below by the time I post this. Join me on Facebook, Wave the Brush, Twitter. It's Kris. It'll be in the description below, and of course the other one is Discord. Join me on Discord. We've been talking lots there. It's been super fantastic, and I usually leave that open all the time. I actually have it on this computer right now. But anyway, it's been really great. You can ask your questions there. We have different categories of forms. I didn't show it today because I didn't have it on this computer. I didn't have it ready to go, and so. But Discord, the link will be in the description below. Of course, if you go to any other previous Way the Brushes, all the links will be there as well. And of course, Patreons. I'm also on Patreon. The monkeys wanted to be able to support these extra projects, and being able to do this from home is in due part to the patrons. So I want to thank them always, because again, they're always kind enough to kick $1 or $2 my way, and that's really, really awesome. And it's really, really generous, and it's really fantastic. And of course, it helps support these other projects that I want to get done. I want to do some more kind of on the road kind of things, and yeah, like I'm planning on just kind of a day excursion. Basically I gotta go deliver something, but I'll probably go visit like Tolo in his town, and we'll hit a few spots and check out the local gaming scenes where he's from, and things like that nature, and basically kind of just get some exposure on all these other areas, because maybe some of you guys are in these towns and you don't know where the game clubs are, and maybe watching this and you'll see where the local game clubs are, and maybe it'll be be a bit helpful for you. So I think that'd be friggin' fantastic, and again, that's due to patrons and support for this show. It all helps. Of course, it also helps with equipment, because I recently picked up a brand new camera for this. It does a proper 1080, although I don't broadcast in 1080, but I mean, it does do a 1080. So if I ever want to do more stuff from home, I have the means now. And yeah, so again, big thanks for everybody, and thanks for watching. Keep on keeping on. Happy wargaming. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you, and I will see you guys next week. I will be going on vacation soon enough, but there will be a show next week. I don't know if I'll do it from home or if I'll do it from the office. Could be either or. Who knows? Who knows? Because now it's wide open. And maybe next time we see my office, it won't be in such a cluttery mess. Although it probably will be. Damn, scream. Anyway, screw it. We're at the end of the show. And yeah, so join me on Discord. Because oftentimes we often have a little after party there. And, we talk about stuff. And, of course, Twitch. I also have the description links in the description below. I'd also do some gaming live shows and stuff like that. Or painting. I often will do some painting as well. But, yeah. Twitter, I often post all the updates on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter. And Instagram, I also post, sneak peek behinds of what I'm working on and projects. There's all sorts of social media stuff. I'm all over the place. Usually it's all in the description below. And yeah. Chaotic Colors. Can't believe his rambling keeps me up till 3:30 in the morning. On that note, Chaotic Colors, go to bed. I'm ending the show. I'm getting the hell out of here. Well, actually, I'm not getting out of here because I'm home. But, I think I'm going to go grab a beer.